Do most women genuinely not have fantasies where they do something heroic and die in the process? What that person was saying was that anecdotally, when people daydream of doing something cool, that the women tend to imagine themselves living through it. Where most men daydream of sacrificing themselves like, all of our pop culture heroes. And at least the comments here seems to reaffirm a gender divide here. And if that's true, I would be fascinated to know why. Because growing up, I was always told that the manliest thing you could do was to sacrifice yourself for the world. If there was like a loser clown character, this was the one way they could redeem themselves. If there's a wise mentor character, they would always sacrifice themselves as the final great lesson. And even weirder, lots of the stories in our mythologies kind of make it seem like almost a tragedy if you grow old not having done this. And this is not just an action movie thing. The most popular film romance of all time is about a couple that knew themselves for like a day, and then the guy sacrifices himself so that she can fit more comfortably on the door. But at the end of the film, this woman, 80 years later, remembers him, not the husband that gave her children or that stayed with her for decades. And I really think that encapsulates it, because it's like, well, wouldn't it have been better if he had survived and stayed with her? And as a guy, what I've heard my whole life is, no, the memory of his sacrifice is far better than anything he could have done while alive. And please don't show up saying that men are more selfless, because this is not a selfless fantasy. It's a fantasy of not having to stick around for the boring part later. So tell me, when you daydream of doing something cool, do you imagine yourself walking away in one piece?